Today on Video Knowledge, this is part 2 of 2, Protect the Nation, Secure the Election with Voter ID. This is the 2016 election map showing you which counties and states voted Republican or Democrat, just how many of those votes were legitimate, and just how many cast in a fraudulent manner. Let's take a look using a small sample of where we know voter fraud took place, or at least questionable voting happened. Judicial Watch conducted a state-by-state tally and discovered that 462 U.S. counties had a registration rate exceeding 100% of all eligible voters. That is about 3.5 million more people living and registered to vote in those counties. These phantom voters are known as ghost voters. These are 20 states, along with the District of Columbia, that don't have that many people living in those states. California, for example, has 11 counties with more registered voters than actual people. Perhaps not surprisingly, it is a deep blue state. After all, 10 of those counties voted heavily for Hillary Clinton. Los Angeles County has a population of about 10 million, and they had 12% more registered voters than people living in that county. There were an extra 708,000 illegal votes in the 2016 election. San Diego County is even worse. It has a 138% registration rate to population, and that translates into about 811,000 illegal votes. So with just 2 of the 11 counties with more voters than people in every county, over 1.5 million illegal votes put the Democrats over any other party on most of the elections. In total, California is the most haunted state, swarming with 1.74 million ghost voters. In Minnesota, Democratic Senator Al Franken won his seat by beating incumbent Norm Coleman in 2008. Coleman was initially declared the winner the day after the election, with a 726-vote lead over Franken, but after a controversial series of recounts and ballot disqualifications, Franken emerged weeks later with just a 225-vote victory. In Michigan, Donald Trump won the state by just 10,704 votes over Hillary Clinton, according to the final results submitted to the Michigan Secretary of State. There was massive voter fraud in Detroit, where discrepancies were so bad officials couldn't recount the votes in 392 precincts, which is 60% of the precincts, and 2/3 of those precincts had far too many votes to registered voters in the city. Democrat Hillary Clinton beat Trump by winning 95% of the vote to just his 3%. The Detroit Free Press analysis found there were 248 precincts in Detroit where voting machines tabulated more Election Day votes than people who were counted as checking in to vote, which means fraud at the polling stations or at the Secretary of State's office. This cheating affected 37% of the city's 662 precincts. Do you see why Democrats always win in Detroit or in heavily blue districts or states? Washington's Clark County has a 154% registration rate. This amounts to 167,000 ghost voters. Georgia's Fulton County has a 108% registration rate, which results in 53,000 illegal votes. Out of the 462 counties United States-wide, 18.5% of the 2,500 counties that were studied exhibited the ghost voter problem. These range from 101% registration in Delaware's Newcastle County to New Mexico's Harding County, where there are 62% more registered voters than people living in that county. As you see by the numbers, there is plenty of voter fraud going on in this country. That is because we do not know who is voting or how many times they are voting. The only way to protect the nation by securing the election is to demand voter ID laws now. One of the greatest freedoms we have in this country is the ability to elect representatives to speak for us, and I mean all of us, not just a select group of corrupt individuals who think they know what is best, and they will continue to commit fraud on our electoral system if we do not stop them now. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking here, and you can watch part 1 if you haven't already by clicking here as well. Have a great day.